I can't wait for this today. I'm going to be testing a £399 package set. Yes, you get all this for £399. You get a driver, 3 wood, 4 hybrid, 5 hybrid, and 6 all the way to sandwich. Now, just to put that in perspective, that is cheaper than a brand new driver out on the market right now. These are the RIFE Rx2. We're going to play 2 holes. Let's have a look who they're aimed at. Let's have a look how they perform and feel out on the golf course, all the way from driver down to pitching wedge. Okay, before we play 2 of the holes here at Vale Royal, let's have a bit of a closer look. So come here, let's have a little look at these irons. So the first thing that you're going to see there is that the head is very, very big. So quite deep, quite wide, so classed as an oversized head. Also, look at the cavity at the back. This is sort of a bigger cavity, allowing you to put the centre of gravity a little bit lower, helping you get the golf ball up into the air. So essentially that runs through all the way from your sand wedge, all the way through to your 6 iron. So come here, have a look at that one. Again, very similar in sort of the size and how it is. I do like the sort of shiny effect on the side, to be honest. I like that sort of shiny look, gives it a bit more of a premium feel, even though they are a cheaper sort of package set. Yeah, I like that. I like that. Okay, so let's have a look now at the hybrids, because I bang on about this all the time on the channel. I think hybrids are a must. Yes, a must for most of us. So let's go for hybrid. Look at that. Nothing better than that, is there? Taking that out of there. That off. Come on, you need a close-up of this, don't we? Taking the cellophane off. Look at that. Now, have a look at that. Now, the one thing I'm going to say straight away, and this is not a criticism, something that I don't like, is a blue head. I just really don't like that blue head. I don't know what it is about it, but it just looks... I'd be worried about it chipping off. I don't know. I'm probably just sort of a worry of mine. I've seen people chip this sort of stuff before. It would be a worry of mine, that. But I guess if you kept it in the head cover, it would be okay. And there we've got our club face with sort of the grooves on there. So good to get a couple of hybrids. Be interesting to see how those perform. Okay, we all want to see that driver, don't we? Remember, it does come with a 3 fairway as well, but let's have a look at this driver. Now, this is actually a remodeled head slightly with better aerodynamics. So essentially helping the Rx2 versions of these woods, so what we've got here, cut through the air a little bit better. Also, centre of gravity is low and far back, helping you get the golf ball up in the air. This is a 10.5 degree head, and I have to say, when I put this down on the ground, it sits really nicely. Like, it sits pretty good. It does look like we've got a lot of loft, but that is sort of what we're aimed at here. We want to get the ball in the air. I'm interested to see how far this bad boy can go. So yeah, overall, for what you're getting, I think there's quite a bit of a premium feel to that. But the proof's in the pudding here. The one thing that scares me sometimes with package sets is the consistency between the irons. How do they perform? How do they feel? Do they go the distances I would expect them to be? I know the lofts are stronger, so they go longer than what I already use. So let's put them to the test. We've got 2 holes here at Vale Royal. We've got a par 3 and a par 4, and I'm interested to see how this package set performs. And did I say, well, look at the bag as well. The bag's not half bad. Not half bad. Okay, we're also going to think, I'm going to give you my opinion on who I think these are aimed at. 180 yards, I'm going to go with 6 iron. That would be my usual club, so let's go. Now, I'm not actually entirely sure that went. It didn't feel great, not the club, me, just a bit thin. So I'm zooming in here on the shot tracer, and it started dead straight. So it'll be interesting to see how far it's gone, considering how I hit it, and where it's ended up in terms of straightness, because it didn't feel good. Okay, so this is the thing I want to get into here. Budget. Budget, 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 because you've got to think of these irons like, I can't stand here and compare them to a £2,000 set of irons, because they're not that. Even the driver, I can't stand here and compare that to a £500 driver. We're getting all that for less. Straight away, when you're buying a set of irons or you're thinking about this, you've got to think of budget. And if you're new to the game, it can be very, 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 very confusing. There's so many options. What do I do? How do I get it right? So potentially going down a route like this is a great way to test your game. Now, with that being said, Josh, Carl, both of my mates, both members of golf clubs, have been using sets of irons like this. So is there something about this for not just beginner golfers, but actually a bit more established too? Right, we're nearly at the green. Let's see where it's gone. Tee is there, green's here. It actually pitched pretty much pin high on not a very good hit. So the oversized head and the lower CG definitely helped me out right there. Okay, so now it's time. I'm gonna have to chip that before putting. So it's time to test. Okay, that's gonna happen quite a bit today. The sand wedge. So as I picked the more lofted club up, the offset of that club, as you put it behind the balls, it gets a little bit bigger. So essentially that's there to help you get the ball in the air, help you square the face. Now, to me, it just doesn't look as good in the shorter iron, the sand wedge, as it did for the 6. The 6 wasn't as noticeable. Okay, let's get a little bit of a chip here on this. I have to say, the shafts don't feel bad, considering they're regular, and again, we're on a cheap set of irons really here. Oh, that popped. That flew off the face. That absolutely flew off the face. That felt hot. Now it's time to whip out the Rx2 Putter. Okay, so it's almost like their version of a 1-ball or 2-ball. Now, I actually like how still on this putter, we've got sort of grooves on this face to help the ball roll. They're calling it roll groove face. And actually, it feels quite nice. And it doesn't look half bad. Again, the only thing I'd be thinking about this, right, it doesn't come with a head cover, and that scares me with this. Because the irons feel not premium, but they don't feel budget, this I would fear, I mean, you can already see it might start wearing away against your irons because of the material. So potentially, I mean, you can always buy a head cover, but yeah, it'd be nice if it sort of came with one, I guess. Okay, let's put it to the test. Here we go. Wasn't a half bad putt. It makes a little bit of a ting. Now, other things that I get scared about with putters like this is they sometimes, that's a bogey, they sometimes feel quite light. You sort of like feel like you're waving a wand around and there's no sustenance to the putter. But that's got a nice weight to it. And that's a very, very positive thing. This is the perfect hole to give all these clubs a test. I'm excited to hit the big dog, but I'm actually also excited to see what the distance control is with those medium irons around 8 iron. We're gonna hit 2 from the same point as we go down this hole and see what the flight is like. Is it consistent? Because that is the proof in the pudding. First up, feels, I don't know, feels all right when you give it a waggle. It feels, I guess, not stiffer than a regular, but it doesn't feel flimsy and weak, and I guess the word would be cheap. Have you ever used like a budget club like this, or even ever had a packaged set of irons? Because I honestly think, like, I don't know what you think about this, but I think golf brands may be going down a route like this a little bit more often. I think that's pretty good. It makes it more accessible. It's a bit cheaper because we all know it can get a little bit ridiculous. But on the flip side is, you can only answer this question. I would personally always want to go brand new. I think if you buy second hand, it can always be a bit scary because you could argue with me and say, actually, Alex, well, I could pick a brand new set of irons up for this in a package set, but also I could pick a second hand set of irons up for something very similar for the same price. Okay, without further ado, I'm excited to do this. We're going to hit driver and then we're going to hit the 3-wood as well. Let's see how they fly, let's see how they perform and see how far they go. Three-wood was hit nice. Driver was a little bit heely, but actually still flew all right and did exactly what I thought it would do on how I hit it. So, yeah, didn't look too bad behind the ball. The only thing I would say is like it felt a lot longer than my driver. Now that's probably a good thing for some people. A little bit longer helps you get a little bit more club head speed. But again, I'm just comparing that to what I usually use. You could definitely play with these though, definitely. We are bang on 100 yards now. This is what I'm excited for. how consistent with a wedge is that ball flight and distance control going to be? Because we know these are the clubs where it really does matter getting it close. So let's hit 2 wedges, see where it finishes. I'm excited for this. I'm really excited for this. Okay, so it's now time to test this. 104 yards we've got to that flag. This is the part of the course where we want these to fly consistent. This is where it matters. And just on another tech note, these grips, they don't feel too bad. And what I do like about it is these sort of guides. You've got sort of a center line. You've got a place where you can sort of put a guide for your thumb. Come have a look here. This here, some nice little guides to follow, which is always, I always like stuff like that. Okay, so this is gonna be interesting. 2 shots, 104 yards. Let's see how consistent we can get the flight and sort of distance control. These are the clubs where it matters.
I do think you should have a shot track.
How good was that?
Something I'm worried about when I sort of saw these irons originally was the cavity, how high they were going to go and how hot they would feel off the face. But they have honestly both flown pin high. Distance control was great. The flight was exactly the same. I don't know. They felt really nice and they felt very easy to hit. That big face. I know I said about sand wedge it not looking great and not feeling great, but the rest of the sort of bag, well, it's performing. Come on then, have a look at those shots there. I mean, no matter who you are, how good you are, they are some nice shots. Let's see if we can convert. So it's an interesting point in this. We just had a downpour to pause for a second, but we've got a waterproof pocket on here, which is brilliant, even on a budget bag. So you can shove your valuables in there. And I want to also point, you do get a rain cover as well. They must know you play Manchester, Alex. They must know. Right, see if we can make a birdie. So like I say, the weight of this doesn't feel half bad. Okay, a little bit left side. Whew, side door, birdie. Birdie with a budget set. Okay, don't forget, we're gonna hit a few of the hybrids on the next tee, and then we'll give you sort of my overall opinion on what they feel like, are they worth the money, and actually who I think they are aimed at entirely. Like, I know they say they're aimed at sort of a beginner, but could they be a bit more than that? Could they be a good option for somebody else as well? Woo-hoo. Back to back. 2 birdies, that's set with 2 balls. Right, onto the tee. We've already seen the driver, so I'm going to test these hybrids on an approach shot. We're 200 yards away on the hardest hole here at Vale Royal. Okay, so how do I think about, what do I think about these clubs so far? I've had a bogey, I've had a birdie. I'm finding it hard to find any real negatives in these. I actually really, really like them. Irons feel good. The only sort of thing I said is about worrying about the putter and getting chips, but something you could fix with a head cover. Could I play a round of golf with them? Well, the answer has to be yes, definitely. Okay, let's see how both of these go. We're going to hit 2 shots here, one with the 5 hybrid, one with a 4 hybrid. Let's see how they feel and fly. Was hit so solid. I'm absolutely astounded at these. At the start, I wasn't quite sure. I wasn't quite all for them. But after hitting those 2 shots, both the 4 and the 5 hybrid, you know what? This is what I'm going to do actually. We're going to take this a step further tomorrow. So make sure you subscribe, turn your bell on. We're going to go into these a little bit more. I'm going to compare these to my 1 length hybrid. The one club that I bang on about all the time and I love. We're going to see the distances, we're going to see how they perform, and yeah, go into some real depth on this tomorrow. So turn your bell on, subscribe to the channel, and make sure you watch that tomorrow. I'm buzzing for this because, you know what? I'm shocked how good they felt. They've probably got to be one of the best parts of this bag. Thanks for watching. Hit that thumbs up button on this video if you like a bit of the tech talk.